welcome back to Beyond Injury Time. We had game week 21 for me, which was like one of the most boring game week because my team did not play. So who cares? But for everybody else, it was I guess, very fantastic game week because we had again a BIT clash between a United boys and our Singleton Spurs boy. And also some more things that was interesting for all of us who here with who I think that we are in the title race, and also for United guys also, as well. So
That's gonna hurt, man.
so well, I just want to start with United and the Spurs game, because I feel like that with United's full strength team coming back, I feel like that you guys had a lot of hope. And Spurs still, I think, dealing with their injury crisis, but Ange makes them play like they don't really care about injuries at all. So it was always going to be a clash, a proper clash. And since it is our BIT clash, I'm more excited about what you guys thought about the game. What were your expectations going into the game? And did you guys still think that your expectations were met? I'll start with United, and I'll start with, I think, Rajesh here. What did you think going into this game? Like, you had your players back. Were you expecting a new style of play, or maybe improvement in the style of play, and did you get it?
No, all I hoped from this game is a win. I mean, there are no two ways about it, because Spurs did not Spurs were not full strength coming into the game, because I knew for a fact that the variety in attack, the combination play, the runners picking out the runners. So at least they were basically on to third or fourth string attack. The newly joined Timo Werner also started the game. So you can imagine the injury crisis that Spurs are facing. So we knew that there is they'll press, they'll not give up. That is for sure. But that final quality they'll miss, and which they did. But that's why the prediction was that we have to win this game, and we might as well nick it. It was my thought. I never thought that we are going to dominate them and play a good game.
Okay.
So what we got actually out of the game was a pretty superior first half for United, as expected. But I get the feeling that every time our players start, right, I kind of get a feeling from our players that they have already played 20 minutes in the game. So you understand? So the thing is that it's like, call it lack of commitment, lack in confidence. But for Ten Hag, all his players have returned.
Okay.
I mean, there are few players here and there, but nothing that disables him not to play his style and not to get results. There are no excuses left. Not that I'm saying that if you have a few players injured, there are excuses that you can't deliver results. That was already a criticism, right?
Right.
But he's been hell-bent on the fact that he played well last season. He had a style. He dominated games at Old Trafford and so whatnot. So we were hooked on to that last one thing. We were hoping that, okay, players will come back, and so Martinez came on after the 62nd minute. And as expected, I was also telling Amit on the sidelines that, I mean, once he comes back, we will be more compact defensively, and his passing between the lines is already very good, and he gave a couple of good passes. So second half was all about being compact, because thing is that had we conceded in the second half, because Spurs came out all guns blazing, and they played right through us. And that has been happening all season, man. All season. Galatasaray, Copenhagen. I mean, it's like anyone can play against us. I mean, between us. When teams consistently come back and play through you, that is seriously relegation form. I mean, worse than relegation. Even relegation.
On that, I just sorry for stopping you a little bit. On that point, I just want to ask you a thing. From what I at least saw, it felt like the Mino was kind of secluded in that alone in that midfield. Did you feel the same? That he was like doing a lot of it in midfield without too much of help?
No, the thing is that Manu was almost in a single pivot role, and he was my man of the match. I mean, maybe Dalo and Manu will have a tough competition, but Manu was my man of the match. What
Okay.
he did being alone, just take him out of the equation, we would lose this game even to a third string spot side at home. You know, that's how bad the situation is. And hence all this negative talk around United. And you might as well feel for a third person who has not watched the game at all, he will feel that अबे United 3-0 हार गए क्या? तो मतलब that's the air of negativity surrounding the club. कि why has Ten Hag not able to deliver? And I'd like to close my statements by saying that I was really waiting for this game.
Yeah.
Remember how I've been praising Ange a lot, AngeBall and whatnot, all his comments, and you guys have been on my backs all the time that
Do it
oh,
every match,
Spurs
man.
fan hai kya? You know, I anticipated that this will be the game, Spurs versus United, where the media and ex-United players and ex-Spurs player also will start to really compare what Ange has done at Spurs, even without his players, and what ETH is doing with all his players that have come back. I knew this comparison will be drawn
Right.
only after this fixture. Because previously, me as a fan was talking. Now,
Yeah.
everyone else is talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it
You
from the
mentioned one thing here that it has performed well in the last season and whatnot. He was doing good, but when he was performing last season, he was claiming that I am not able to play my style of football. I am because I don't have players and whatnot. So probably when he was not playing his style of football, he was still winning. Now it is gone out. So I am also unable to understand. I want to ask Manish. I am unable to understand what ETH is kind of trying to do with this team because I did not see any patterns. I did not see any way they were clicking. Matlab, I saw some counter attacking like take a give a cross to Rashford, he will run. Was that the only strategy that ETH had in mind? Because apart from that, I did not see defensively very good. Dalot was amazing. Evans was doing good, but after that, once you go out of defense, I did not see anything coming out of United team.
No, it's not only you. We also didn't say anything. Because for a manager to play to incorporate his style of play, it starts from the preseason. From the preseason, they develop some kind of formation, they kind of passing gameplay and all that, and it starts
Right.
from the first game of the season. But you know what happened from the first game of the season? We had a very tough start to the start of the season,
Okay.
partly because of some refereeing decisions and some bad luck. That has to be considered, because if we had those results in our favor, the story would have been different. So since that start was bad and then we didn't perform well, we didn't have characters in the game throughout the season, so now it's all damage control, it's all firefighting. कहीं आग लग गई, जाओ बुझाओ उधर, उधर बुझाने गए, कहीं और वो चोरी हो गया, उधर
Reactive,
वो करो.
they are playing
It's all,
reactive. Yeah.
yeah, it's all not it's all like damage control situation there. So now Erik Ten Hag is trying to do what what is needed now, not what he wants to do. So these are the kind of things now. Against you are playing a home game at Old Trafford, and that too against Spurs. I mean, I'm not having any disrespect to Spurs. What I'm saying is, if any opposition, if they are flying, if they are like challenging for the spots that you are challenging in the table, and when they come to Old Trafford, you put on a show, you fight for that place, and then you tell to them, okay, this is what we are also made of. Like, not every United manager gets the chance to shut up the media like Jose Mourinho did against Spurs. So this was the game we are waiting for. Like, okay, we'll perform, we'll show. It's not to show to Spurs, but to show to us as fans and show to the world, okay, we
Yes.
can do this. But all those hopes are gone. We were playing on counter attacks. Tottenham were having more possession than United, that too at Old Trafford, and we lost this reverse
55%.
fixture. Yeah, we lost the reverse fixture at Spurs. So we are
Yeah.
bound to like put on a show and win this game, but we didn't do
Yeah.
that. So it's and we are now at 9 losses in the Premier League, one loss away from 10 Premier League losses, and every time United has lost 7 Premier League matches in the league, it has happened 4 times, and all four of the times the manager has been sacked. So
Okay.
this was
Oh.
when the score was 2-2 and commentator was putting out
But
this
you
stat.
still love Ten Hag, isn't it?
I do love, because there is no better option. And if we
Your
keep
standards have
sacking the
dropped.
manager, no, if we keep sacking the managers, the player power will increase. Then Sancho will come back. Then he'll say, I want to play. Anthony Ilanga will come back and he'll say, I want to play. Anthony
He
Martial will
gave an
not
assist,
leave.
by the way.
He'll say,
But
I'll play.
but
He'll say, I'll
No,
play.
so Manish, is that really a bad thing? Like,
No,
are you saying that see, I understand Jadon Sancho has had his disciplinary issues, okay? And I feel
Mhm.
like a manager is the should be the most powerful person in the club, okay? A player should not be. I am completely in with you in there. But just because you feel that maybe the players will have a little more power, are you okay with having a manager who seems like is just not able to improve no matter how many tools you give him, no matter what kind of environment you give him? Do you feel like there has to be an end to this thing? Maybe give a chance to a manager. I know it's United. The expectations are higher. You might not get the time that you get in other clubs, but still, maybe some manager who will probably start building from the bottom a little bit.
No, you
Isn't
could
isn't
have
that
said
something they should be looking
this.
for?
This was the narrative when Ole was in charge. They were saying he's not a proper coach. He doesn't have that much of experience. He has not won trophies and all that blah blah blah. But
Okay.
Ten Hag is different. He has a particular formation. He has a particular style of play. He can do wonders with a weaker squad as well. We have seen in Ajax, and he has won trophies as well. So when a manager comes with this kind of a record, and he also like he can do the job. There is no
और वो
question about it.
जीतेगा कब? When will we
No,
see that Erik Ten Hag?
no, you have to give some time to like this is a struggling phase. Like there have been chances, it has every club has gone through that kind of a phase. So we have to like stick to that. Only then we'll get to see the bright side of it. Otherwise, if we sack the manager, then this cycle will continue, because we have seen this cycle continue for 3 managers. That
Look,
is why I'm saying this.
the
No,
realistic
okay.
thing is that now that Ineos have taken over, right? They are waiting for a reason to sack him. No, anyone new would come. They are not coming in to just just keep on doing the same things repeatedly. They're going to bring new structure, and when anyone new comes in, right, they want to imprint their footage
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Because at the end of
Always.
the day, if a manager does well, they would want to take a credit that we hired him, right? Those
Yeah.
are the reasons. Call it selfish reasons, call it business decisions or whatever.
Yeah.
So
True.
they want to have their imprint so that they create their own model and they be successful. So now the mentality may be such that now the conversations and all have gone well with the manager, as per reports, as per Erik Ten Hag's own admission, right?
Okay.
Now the talks have gone on. But come the end of the season, if we don't make top four, Ineos people are going to come in and say, okay, last season you finished top four. You made more investment and then you finished outside of top four. You didn't improve. You didn't sustain. We didn't expect you to win the title this season. We expected you to at least be at the same level. You have regressed. You have regressed. And you have been out of all the competitions. You have been out of all the competitions now, except the FA Cup, of course. But you've been out of the Champions League in group stages. You did not even progress there. So all this are agendas now stacking up against Erik Ten Hag, and they will not sack him this season. That is for sure. Everyone knows it. No matter whoever cries for a sack,
Yeah.
they will not sack him. It will continue until the end of the season. They will assess him again, okay, and then they make a decision. And sack may seem like a realistic option because there is a change of ownership. Had the ownership not changed, scenario could have been different. And before I end, I just wanted to mention, like Manish mentioned the stat, I wanted to mention one stat that there was another record that Spurs threatened to break. And that record had been continuing since 1984, the age-old record. And that record is that at Old Trafford, every time we have led in first half, okay, we have never lost a game.
Okay.
So
Oh,
that record
okay.
was also. I was really worried because as soon as the second half started, they scored. मैं तो बोला लग गए भाई गलती से स्कोर हुआ ना हम तो नहीं
But
मार
records are meant to be broken.
Yeah, it will get broken.
But
And
they
eras come to
didn't
an
get
end.
broken.
And eras come to an end.
It is a play on that only.
I
Eras.
too. I
It
just
has
want
come to an
to.
end. Eh?
No,
I just want
I
to
get
put
a
a
feel
cherry on
Erik Ten
top,
Hag actually goes through the record sheets that
Hmm.
United has and have made a
Tries to break
checklist
it.
of breaking all of them one by one.
But
बहुत
not the
कोशिश
positive ones,
No,
the negative
no,
ones.
that was David Moyes.
वो है
नहीं, एरिक टेन हाग अलग है वो। मेरे को तो ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब इस बार भी वो हारने की कोशिश किया एक और रिकॉर्ड तोड़ने के लिए, बट वो प्लेयर्स ने साथ नहीं दिया उसका।
I am in danger.
Okay, enough of
Before I
United and
actually,
their
by the way,
problems. We
bef-
we
No,
need
but
to start talking about Spurs, I feel away.
yeah, before I
no,
actually
but
move into
before that,
Spurs,
before
okay,
that,
yeah.
I have a question for Iyer. Actually, he's saying ki look at the we have seen the bad side. We look at the bright side when bright side comes. My question is, what is your tolerance level? क्योंकि भाई तुम 20th पोजीशन पे भी आ जाओगे तो तुम बोलोगे इसके बाद तो अच्छा ही होना है, वो तो होना ही है भाई, राइट? वो तो होना ही है।
चैंपियनशिप जीतेंगे भाई।
I just want to know, I just want to know realistically what is your tolerance level कि इतना हक दिया तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है ना? If we have messed this much, I can put up with it. As in, there must be some tolerance limit, no?
No, I've given up on this season. That is my tolerance level.
Mani-
Next
Manish
season,
has said-
next season, I will accept if Erik Ten Hag is sacked within 3 months or it's
भाई,
also okay.
अभी अबे मनीष has already said कि 9 मैचेस हार चुके हैं, अगर वो 10 हक दिया
तो Ten Hag हो जाएगा.
But my
Oh
thing is
God.
like bro, Manish is also explaining कि 9 हो चुका है. Now we are coming to अगर एक और हार गया तो 10 हो जाए, and I'm just listening to him कि bro, I know the maths. But yeah, as we were moving on to Spurs, right? Moving
Yeah.
on to Spurs, I had a question to Amit also. Frankly, what did you expect of the match? Like going in, not
Hmm.
after what has happened. I'm saying तूने bench देखा, तूने देखा कौन players आए हैं on the team sheet, and 11 bona fide players है, वो बस players है, उतनी बड़ी बात है. So what were your thoughts on it?
अरे वो
अपना
एंज
तो मेरे
ट्रिप
को
में है भाई, वो तो
सिंपल
सोचेगा हम जीत जाएंगे।
भाई मेरे को
That's
सिंपल
who are
एक
we at.
चीज बस रियलाइज हुई है कि हम लोग 11 प्लेयर बस फिट रखते हैं जो कि फर्स्ट 11 बन सके, ठीक है? उससे ज्यादा लोग ऐसे रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, तो फर्स्ट 11 ही हमारी रहती है, हर मैच में अलग रहती। बट यस, मैं ग्रुप में मैसेजेस, आई वाज जस्ट गोइंग थ्रू द मैसेजेस कि मतलब बातें चल रही, थ्रैशिंग ना हो जाए कहीं, ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड आ रहे हो देख लो, ये सब बातें मतलब कुछ यूनाइटेड फैंस कर रहे थे।
बड़ी बड़ी बात है।
And मतलब वहां देखा एंड ही सेड कि यार योर टीम में, तुम्हारी टीम में द मिडफील्ड इज कंप्लीटली चेंज्ड एंड ऑल, बट फॉर अ डिफरेंट रीजन आई वाज काम कि ठीक है, मतलब खेल तो लेंगे ये लोग, लॉन्डे अपने खेल लेंगे,
खेल
कोई
लेंगे।
दिक्कत नहीं है, ऐसा तो नहीं होगा कि यूनाइटेड पेल देगी,
हम्म।
कंपेटिटिव टीम है, दे विल गो अहेड। एंड व्हाट वी हैव सीन इज कि जो भी प्लेयर्स चेंज होते हैं, मतलब दिस इज कॉमन कॉमन थिंग भाई, हमने सेंटर बैक्स में फुल बैक्स खिला लिए हैं, हमने विंगर्स को मिडफील्ड में खिला लिया है, वी हैव डन एवरीथिंग, एंड the bottom line is कि there is a way where this team play, right? There is a way this team operates, and that way is constant. Yes, the quality lacks sometime, हो सकता है कि उतना अच्छे से वो लोग कैरी आउट ना कर पाए, but they will carry out the same plan. The plan will not change. Even if the player change, it will not be like एरिक डायर खेल रहा है तो we will play more defensively. नहीं, एरिक डायर भी उतना ही आगे खेले, तो that is a constant thing कि ठीक है, they will play the same way, and these set of players are drilled with it. They are not left in the training कि भाई इनको खिला ही नहीं रहे हैं. They also play the same way as all other people are saying, ताकि ये लोग वापस आके फिट हो सके, which does we see, right? Skip, Højbjerg, they were somebody जो कि आप नहीं उनको रखते कि हाँ they can play that aggressive, that progressive passing, but we have seen that they are also doing the same things that Yves Bissouma and Sarr does. Maybe they
maybe the quality may not be there, but yeah, the idea is still there to play
idea
that.
same.
Ideology is there, and that is where I still had confidence, क्योंकि वो identity United में अभी भी missing है. I still had that thing here. They will still be dominant. They will still play a good brand of football. Yes, we might lose, we might win, but it will not be like कि we will take United a superior side for this match just because we are injury struck.
To
They'll
quote
change the
Ange
game to Old
in an
Trafford.
interview, he was asked that so because Spurs are flying, right? Even now they're flying. They have implemented a philosophy. He was asked, so you've implemented this style of play and whatnot in such a short space of time. So what do you think? Do you have all the players that you need? Like, in his Australian way, like Abhay had once mentioned, he's a football purist. His answer was exactly gold. He said, "You have a philosophy. Go ahead and implement it, man." It stuck with me. Dude, it has stuck
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Like, तुमको क्या चाहिए भाई? तुम instructions pass करो to players. Yeah, maybe you lose games because you don't have the players, but at least for the joy of the fans, for the sake of progress, you implement the idea across the squad. So yeah, I am actually on board with that idea, but I that's why I so much want to see my club, have that mentality at least. So,
You know,
right?
I'm thinking, I'm listening to Amit, and I'm thinking,
Sure.
I mean, and I don't want to draw comparison, obviously, but it gives me so much like what we felt early with Klopp is that irrespective of who was playing, they were playing the way that Klopp wanted that particular position to be played. So the person doesn't matter, the position matters, the style of the play matters, and Ange is it's refreshing to see actually that now Ange is doing the same thing, and he doesn't really care who the 11 are. As he's saying, I think in training, basically everybody is doing the same thing, and when they come here, obviously quality drops sometimes, but you get the similar kind of style. So there is no confusion that when the player changes, the something will change. Like this basic idea is same.
So I have
And
a question,
No,
random
no.
question. I have a random question for Rajesh and Abhay Maheshwari. Like, what if United sack Erik Ten Hag and want Ange? What will happen?
जाएगा
No, Ange won't come.
लौंडा नहीं जाएगा
He
No,
won't.
no,
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 not
no,
now.
yeah.
Not now.
That way, I think
No, no, end of the season, end of the season,
no,
not
no, I
now.
think he's loyal that way. He's loyal that way.
and all that.
But मेरे दिमाग में there is another question that is actually going on in my head when Jogeka was speaking and when Amit was saying this is all well and good because your results have been decent, right? If you do not change your philosophy and your players की वजह से quality drop हो रहा है significantly, which will happen at some point of time. And that point of time, don't you think that maybe you change your philosophy based on the players you have? अब capacity ही नहीं है किसी player की.
I'll actually answer that because it's happened with us. He's in the process, but it's happened with us. So the thing is that what really matters, at least what really mattered for us was that it's really important that players know what the game style is, because you cannot implement something in 1 week or 2 weeks. It takes 3-4 weeks, sometimes 2-3 months to actually get that whole philosophy into the team where they are not thinking, they are doing things instinctively. So unless you repeat things like tirelessly for 2-3 months, it won't happen. So what happens that even if you don't have player, the same players play the same way, then you have transfer windows, and then you do a little bit of adjustment. You don't have a player, you change. You don't have a player, you get a guy who can play the way that who can play with the quality that you want him to play. And then obviously you have academies and all that stuff. But if you don't do that work for let's just say next 6 months, so you don't really know what to fill in that, like what do you really want a player to do after that 6-month window comes, and you don't fill that particular position properly. What Ange is going to do is now he's going to have a window. He already has Timo Werner. He has so many plans for Werner because he did not have the striker that he wanted. By the end of the season, you see the signings that they're going to make again are going to exactly the kind of guys where he sees that, okay, I have this style implemented, but I do not have the player who's doing exactly probably that final third pass maybe, or that proper defensive work rate that I want. And then he'll bring a guy and he'll put him there, and that will be his primary guy. And that's that first 11 that he'll stick with. And then he'll have a player here and there. But if you don't have this philosophy,
problems start to develop when what happens is that a manager comes in and he asks the club to invest. Let's say I'm taking the example of Anthony. So obviously Anthony must be good, okay, and Erik Ten Hag completely trusts him. Okay, Erik Ten Hag completely trusts him. He's played at Ajax, he's won whatever. But I feel Erik Ten Hag was not street smart in asking the club to sign Anthony, because he
Okay.
was recently asked why didn't Van de Beek
Hmm.
fit into his plans. You know what he said? He said
Hmm.
he's been on and off injured, and he's been out for a long time, and he just could not come back to the intensity of the Premier League. Man, you did not give him a chance. मतलब मुझे लगता है Erik Ten Hag is a person who just wants new things, shiny stuffs, right?
Hmm.
I don't think that
Hmm.
he is a person who is street smart and is actually invested to actually improve the current players. He is the kind of manager कि मेरे को ये चाहिए. मतलब you can say Pep Guardiola minus the success here. So okay.
And the style, success and the style.
Minus the success and the style, of course. मतलब तुम Erik Ten, मतलब look, when he played at Ajax, when he was just about to join us, there was a big article and how they explained that Ten Hag is actually a perfect cross between Klopp and Pep, because there are
Okay.
certain elements to his game, like the gegenpressing elements, the pressing elements that are, more towards what club does, and there is a good mixture and elements from Pep Guardiola as well, because he was a youth team coach, reserve team
Okay.
coach at Bayern Munich when Pep Guardiola was the manager. So
Okay.
they interacted and all that. So
Okay.
everyone thought that, okay, Ajax brand of football, the way we are all praising the De Zerbis and the Ange, right? So we also need to go back a little bit and understand that we also praised Erik Ten Hag much more than what you're praising Ange or De Zerbi. Because Erik Ten Hag, so keeping all criticisms aside, you also have to turn a page and look at what he's achieved. Okay, so with Ajax, what he did, everyone wanted Ajax to win the UCL because of their brand. They challenged Real Madrid inch for inch. And Real Madrid manager at the time, Zidane, if I'm not wrong, he was made to praise the manager, that because Madrid during that season were not challenged by any team like that, the way Ajax did them. So there are good elements to Ten Hag. Okay, so a coach doesn't become bad overnight.
Hmm.
It's just that I will accept it. It's just that sometimes I feel maybe we as fans may not have that level of technical know-how of the game to understand maybe what is going on in his head. Why is he unable to implement? We can only make conclusions based on what we see. But what we see in football, we all know, been in the game long enough to know that what we see actually in the game may be only 30-40% of it. What players do behind the scenes, maybe these distractions like, you can say, ये distraction से क्या होता है, तुमको तो style implement करना है, ये जो ownership or Cristiano or all these things that he had to deal with. Maybe there is a question that psychologically has he been impacted at certain level. ये भी एक दूसरा question है. I'm just trying to deep dive a little bit,
contention
because
for
this is not the
ETH,
fan speaking. This is
which
the
I
human in me speaking, I guess.
which I have an issue with ETH is just a simple thing that it's 18 months, and I don't think anybody, United fan or in PL, knows what is ETH style of playing.
In United, at
Still
least.
waiting.
But let me be clear. We all know ETH style. Last season he implemented it.
He only said that I cannot implement it with this set of player. He played counter attacking
No,
and
he didn't say I cannot implement with it. He said okay, I'm quoting him. He said, he was asked, do you think United playing the Ajax way? Straightforward question. His exact answers were, no, we cannot play the Ajax way. This is a different team, and players dictate, how you want to play. So his answer was, this is a team. We looked at the history of Man United and the current players, and we want to play in transition. And let me tell you, transition doesn't mean low block and transition like relegation teams play. Transition can also mean how Real Madrid play. They kill you to death. 2-3 passes and bang goal. Okay. So you control the midfield, you press, and ball retention should be very high. And when you get the ball, like a Pep Guardiola does, right? He waits. There are a couple of passes in between. They wait to find the space, like Arsenal do. That intricate play is not there in transition football. In transition football, players have to be stationed properly, and there are a lot of back heels, there are a lot of shimmy, and there is one direct ball and two passes goal. वैसा वाला transition. So Erik Ten Hag said कि भाई हमको transition में खेलना है. We want to play fast. We
Okay.
want to attack fast.
Okay.
Very
Can I say one thing?
More towards
Yeah,
the way
complete
Ange
the
is
thought, yeah.
playing right now. Ange is playing right now because his team also press and attack fast. उतना wait नहीं करते. मुझे लगता है ट्रेनिंग में एंज स्टॉप क्लॉक लेके बैठता होगा कि भाई बॉल तुम्हारे पास इतने सेकंड तक रहना नहीं है. So that's what Erik Ten Hag wants to implement, but for
But,
this season he
what I
hasn't been
know
able to.
Ange is it's more about that counter pressing kind of thing.
Correct.
We want press to happen to us to actually play the Ange way, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
On this whole thing, one thing is for sure that I'm just thinking. None of the managers, like this is the first time I'm listening a manager saying that I have a certain style of play, but I'm going to completely deviate from the way that I'm going to play and play something else entirely. Every manager who's been successful has his way of playing. He goes to team, plays the same way. Goes to team, plays the same way. Never changes. So
Or certain tweaks are there.
tweaks
But
is a
the-
different thing, but the big
Yeah.
core style is same. Like
Yeah.
what he played at Ajax and what he wants to play at United are different styles altogether. It's not tweak. It's
Hmm.
different style altogether. So
obviously not all the elements, मतलब ऐसे हम लोग अभी डिस्कशन करेंगे तो पूरा नया डिस्कशन होगा.
नहीं
But
what
to be honest, his core principles still remain the same. Okay, but what he says is the league which Ajax were in and the kind of players that he had and the kind of structure that he had, the demands at Ajax are different. कि तुम्हारे youth player को लाके खेला लो. यहाँ पे तुम यूनाइटेड में you cannot just bring on youth players like 5-6 youth players and still compete for the title. मतलब it may happen, but you do not leave it to chance, right? So
No,
मतलब
anyway,
to be
without
honest,
by not playing them also you're not doing anything good.
exactly.
that's what, right? It's a result business.
And
वो
you're
जो
paying
भी
a lot
करो
of
सो
wages
करो.
to them as well.
No man, I
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
disagree. I think in
yeah.
this particular situation, that and I don't want to stress this too much, but I disagree in a sense that you are good at something. Okay, you polish it by playing a certain way for years and years. You cannot just leave that and basically do something else because you came to some different place. And maybe this is what he's struggling with because he feels that he needs to change his own things. Maybe you're saying yes, the core principles are not same, but it's still same as you're saying.
Look, man, whatever the
No, it's all
tactics and
it's all
results,
because he's
if you get
firefighting.
results,
It's
you'll
just
be called a
damage
hero.
control. That's why. Yeah.
No, results are not there to back him. Simple as that. Every decision, every result will be questioned.
Result is a different thing. The performance is also not there.
Exactly, man.
Performance
You're
is
saying
exactly.
results, but
Anyways,
yeah.
yeah.
There is no
Anyway,
progress that you
Either
are
way.
saying.
Yeah.
But I'm coming back to question that Maheshwari has asked, just to add on what Abhay has said. I think what you're saying that sometime results are not coming or these situations are not there, you will switch to a different tactic. But I think this was the perfect time for Ange to switch his tactic and nobody would have blamed him in these past few months where major of his players are injured. He did not get many windows to get new players. He has to play with Dyers and all, and has a 5 matches streak where he did not even win a single match, right? That was a complete recipe for him to actually tweak his principle, right? In future he will build his bench, he will get more people to actually does not drop a lot of quality when these kind of things happen. At that point you might have enough in your backyard to get your result. This was the perfect time where if he
Yeah.
would have tweaked, nobody would have blamed him, but he did not. That's where he stood towards his principles, and the answer is already there to your question.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I guess, yeah. So thank you, United, for making Spurs drop some points. Some a little bit
I thought
more.
you were winning the title. Why do you care about Spurs or United?
Just one more thing, Abhay.
Gary Neville.
I loved the Hoyland guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
His goal was amazing.
Okay.
Literally amazing. That one shimmy that he did on on Wendy win was amazing. United fans are completely crazy about it. But the only thing is when I saw his press conference afterwards, and I felt like that the United fans ही नहीं, players भी काफी delusional है.
What did he say?
भाई मुंह पे बोलता है कि I think United was the better team today and we should have won the match. भाई तू कौन सा मैच खेल रहा था? तू शायद सेम मैच नहीं खेला जो बाकी टीम खेल
भाई
रही थी.
अपनी अपनी टीम पे सबको भरोसा होता है भाई. खुद खेल के आया ना वो, इतना अच्छा गोल मार के आया वो.
ईटीएच का थोड़ा कम रहा भाई, वो भी यही स्क्रिप्ट फॉलो करता है जो तेरे को दी गई है बोलने के लिए. सेम स्क्रिप्ट भाई ने भी अपने उसमें बोली है.
खुश है लड़का, खुश है, कोई बात नहीं.